Hello, you wonderful lot. How are you? I will give you a couple of minutes to come on, and I shall also share this around. You are in the right place if you are, or if your child is struggling with that thought of going back to school. Some schools have gone back already, and other schools have not, and it's all happening this week, isn't it? So if you or your child are struggling from the back to school anxieties, then stay tuned, because I'm going to help you. I am going to give you the support that you need from a parent's point of view. What can I do to help my child? And I'm going to give you some exercises later on, so that your child doesn't get too worked up, so we just lower the stress levels, because that's what it's all about. So good to see you, glad you're here. Thank you. If you're on the replay, let me know. I'm just gonna, give me a minute here, I'm just refreshing my feed so that I can just sort of share this to my Facebook group and sort of stuff like that, because it would be nice to have some people on board. Give me a minute. More options, share to a group. We're jolly nearly there. There we are. And I shall press, there we are. So, what's going on? Our kids are struggling. Our kids are, do you know what? Some of them are skipping back to school. Some of them are absolutely thrilled that they are finally out of your hair and that they're seeing their mates. I know that there's a lot of parents breathing a sigh of relief, thinking, oh, thank God the summer's over. How wonderful is that? Well, actually not thank God the summer's over. Thank God the school holidays have sort of come to a close, because it has been quite a stressful time. Not only the summer, but, we've had a lot of homeschooling. We've had a lot of all that going on already. So parents need some space. I get that. So it's sort of nice now to get back to the routine. It's nice now to have a bit of me time. It's nice to, for many of your kids, watching them sort of go back, skipping through the tulips because they're seeing their mates again. Here's hoping they stay. We don't know what autumn and winter are going to bring, do we? And I think therein lies some of the issues, in that it's all a bit uncertain. And that's what the unconscious mind, sort of getting slightly techie, or scientific, the unconscious mind doesn't really like change, and it doesn't really like uncertainty. But we'll talk a bit about that in a minute. For some kids, as I said, they are happy to be going back. They are relieved to have the routine, relieved to sort of get out of your hair. There are others who have absolutely loved lockdown, and they're not really terribly keen about getting back into the flow of school again. And I get it. It's hard. So what do we do? The thing is for kids, they've had this roller coaster of emotions, haven't they? Many of them have been robbed of their proms. Many of them have been robbed, dare I say it, of proper exams. They've missed out on seeing their friends. They've missed out on a fantastic summer of sport. It's all getting back, but so there's a lot of a readjustment here for kids. I am peering down at my notes because I've got quite a lot here and I don't want to miss anything out. Thank you for joining us. Good to see you. I think the thing is that our kids are now going back, and some of them are going back to new schools. Some of them are, they're going to a different year, so that adds the pressures of the higher expectations potentially. Some of them are thinking, oh my God, are my friends still my friends? So maybe they haven't been able to sort of see them so much just recently. And it's a sort of, have I been ditched, or will they like me, or, what am I going to do? It's, have I forgotten everything? Do I know what I should have learned? And normally we have the back to school anxieties, but this is slightly more exacerbated by the very fact that we've had, for many kids, a long period of sort of isolation or not being at school. So it's just that readjustment, and it's important for teachers and parents, because I'm speaking to you guys, to support our kids. How do you know if your child's having back to school anxieties? Well, have you asked them? You know, it's a bit like, you know, so a lot of people say, oh no, I don't want to talk about it just in case it might put that in their head and they know that they should be anxious. No, don't worry. If your child's got anxieties, they will be thrilled that you're talking about it, because it sort of actually, it opens up the conversation, and then it's what we need to do is to try and let them know that actually this is perfectly normal. But yeah, it's also, we need to normalize this. We need to let our kids know that this is actually to be expected, and it's okay. But as I said, they might be worried about interacting with their friends again, so it's the social anxiety. They might be worried about their academic ability. They might be worried about, where do I sit at lunchtime? I mean, you know, the thing is there's so much to worry about. Is that, have I got the right school bag? Will I get the right bus? Will so-and-so sit next to me? What happens if I don't like my teacher? All those sort of things. And so it's quite a worrying time for kids. So we need to be able to speak to them. So how do you know? Well, first of all, you ask them, but also, what are the telltale signs? Well, physically, it's our body. When we have anxiety, it's our body preparing us to fight or flight. So they might have the tummy aches, they might have the headaches, they might not be eating as well, or they might be eating more. They might, did I say sleeping? It's a lot. They might be jittery. They might be there might be meltdowns. They might be arguing with you more. They might be quieter. But physically, they, hyperventilating, sweaty palms, all those things, as I said, preparing your child for fight or flight. And if they don't know to expect that, if they don't know, oh yeah, well, this is what, explaining to them that this is what biology does and this is what, your body is preparing, it can be quite scary. I mean, one child sort of said to me, I had no idea that this is what anxiety felt like. I didn't know. She said, I thought I was having a heart attack, for goodness sake. It felt like there was a concrete block on my chest and I couldn't breathe and I didn't know. And when we've got the tools and the techniques to deal with that, we can ease those symptoms quite easily. But if kids don't know how to deal with it, it's blimmin' terrifying, which then gets them into a spiral of more panic attacks and more anxiety. So, yeah, helping them understand the physical symptoms is quite important. Also, let me take a step, I'll be doing a lot of this. What they tend to do is they tend to go in for school avoidance. Now, that's basically what it's, does what it says on the tin. School avoidance is not really wanting to go to school, thank you very much. And why? Well, it is the short-term gain to allow your child to get out of this uncomfortable feeling. It's not so great though, is it? Because the more they avoid, the less they are able to tackle the problems that they are facing. And it's all to do with this fellow. This fellow is their amygdala. Now, I don't use that word when I speak to kids because it's like, don't even know what you're talking about, Kai. But this is our unconscious mind. And this guy is looking out for saber-toothed tigers, okay? It's great because what he does, it's his job to keep, and this is worth, what you could do is you either grab your child now and go, hey, there's a woman chatting on Facebook all about all about, your unconscious mind with a finger puppet. If not, save this video and show it back to them. But the point is about this is the unconscious mind, and it's the little fellow who is looking for fight and flight, and it is his job to keep you safe. You've got one, I've got one. Every mind, every brain has sort of, well, not really a finger puppet, but you catch my drift. And this is the amygdala, and it is its job to keep you safe. So whatever it did yesterday, it's going to do today, because you're alive. So therefore, it's kept you safe. So therefore, it's done a really good job. So it's going to keep repeating the patterns that it's done. And therefore, as I was talking about school avoidance, that is one of the things that is, oh, listen, you didn't go to school yesterday, or you are stamping your foot and you don't want to go to school. Well, that is going to keep you alive. I've done very well, therefore I'm going to do more and more of that, which is absolutely fine. But school is not a saber-toothed tiger. For 99.9% of the population, school is not particularly life-threatening. So therefore, what we need to do is thank you so much. Yes, you've done very well. You've kept us safe, but it's not really terribly good. And you've got your knickers in a twist and your strategies aren't working. So what we need to do is we need to calm him down. Because at the minute he's going, school's not safe, school's not safe. Oh my gosh, I might get lost. Oh my gosh, I might be bullied. Oh my gosh, this might happen. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And what it's doing is it's getting its knickers in a twist and creating anxiety in your child's head. So what it needs to do, we need to calm it down. And it is your job as your parent to give your child the tools to do that. And I am here to support you in creating those tools. So the thing is about the school avoidance is short-term gain, easy peasy. Long-term gain, not so great, because the more you avoid, the harder it is going to be to go back to school. And we don't want that. What I suggest and what I implore you to do is, regardless of how your child is feeling, whether or not they have palpitations, whether or not, with kindness and compassion, get them through the school gates on day one. And if you've had day one already, get them in now. And I'll tell you why. Because every child is going through some sort of, oh my gosh, now it could be nerves, or it could be full-blown panic, or it could just be that butterflies in the tummy. But every child will be going through this. So we really need your child to be doing it at the same time as everyone else. If you give them the grace of a week's leave and sort of go, oh, now they're there, that's okay. Well, listen, you can just settle in and you can go in next week. Well, the thing is, all the other kids have got there, they've got over the hump, they've got over the nerves, and next week they're going to be absolutely fine and dandy. And your child's coming in brand new to all this, and everyone's going, oh, don't know what your problem is. We've all settled down, great. And so that adds more pressure to your child. Does that make sense? So the first thing I would suggest to you is tough love, mama or dada. Whoever's watching this, tough love. And it's listen, just go in and do a bit of bargaining if you need to. Listen, I'll pick you up at break time if it's really, really unbearable. And invariably what happens, they get in through the front door, everyone's looking at each other and they go, oh my God. And then you suddenly realise, oh, there's my mate. Oh my gosh, we're getting on okay. Right, and they don't really think about needing to come home. So get them over the threshold. That is really what you need, because this little fellow is just going fight or flight, and the easiest way is to run, and the running is school avoidance. So what causes him to go a bit bonkers? As I said, it's the uncertainty. What if this happens? What if this happens? What happens if it's a saber-toothed tiger? Oh my gosh, I don't know what's going to happen. Oh, I don't like change. I don't like this. I don't like uncertainty. Mate, calm down. We've got this. It's going to be okay. Yes, it's all new. Yeah, it's a tiny bit sort of different, and you could be a little bit scared, but I tell you what, it's going to be fun, it's going to be okay, and we've got your back. But please don't get your knickers in a twist, and please don't go into full alert and panic mode, because it ain't needed, because this is not a saber-toothed tiger situation. So, I've told you, number one, get your child across the threshold, get your child into school. They need to go back as soon as possible. Okay, if they've missed a couple of days, right, just explain to them. Listen, I tried to sort of, I was trying to do you a favour, but I saw your woman on Facebook and she said, no, you need to go in, and explain why. Because when they suddenly realise, oh, crikey, everyone else has gone through the teething problems and I'm going to be all on my own here. Oh, no, I need to get back in whilst it's all fresh in everyone's mind. Does that make sense? So what you want is for all your kids to be all the kids to be in the same boat, rather than, them having the other kids having done 2 or 3 days or a week or whatever before your child. So you need to get them in because you don't really want them to miss this milestone. Okay, so that's the first thing you need to do. Number 2, what really, really helps here is validating how they feel. Okay, it's what we tend to do as parents is that we're problem solvers. And we sort of sit there and go, no, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. You'll be okay. Now stop worrying. You've been there. You know school. It's absolutely great. Your friends will be there. Your teacher's fine. You'll be fine. It'll be great. Come on. And the thing is what you're really saying is, no, what you're feeling is just, it's wrong, and you'll be fine, and I'm not going to give your feelings any airtime, which is really saying to your child, I'm not hearing you. I'm not valuing what you're feeling. And then your child's going to go, oh my gosh, what I'm feeling is wrong. Oh my gosh, I'm a mess. Oh my gosh, I'm hopeless. Oh my gosh, I'm not enough. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And they're going to go into that spiral of feeling out of control and no one is there to support them. So validate what's going on and acknowledge how they are feeling and just go, yes, I can hear that you are nervous. Yes, I can see that you are concerned. I understand that. And just give them airtime. Tell me about what's going on here. Tell me what your fears are. I'm worried that Patrick won't speak to me. You'll be fine, Patrick's your best friend. No, turn it. Maybe, have you ever thought that Patrick might be feeling the same? You ever thought that the rest of your schoolmates might be feeling the same as you? What happens if there's someone feeling, what happens if there's someone new in the class? Maybe you could go and be kind. Random act of kindness always helps everyone. And it's just allowing them to validate their feelings and explaining to them. This is what I say to so many kids that, my one-to-one clients. I sort of go, well, yeah, you are feeling like that. And so are all the other people I speak to. This is normal. This is not how you should feel, but it is normal to feel that. It is understandable because this guy don't like change. For a start, he doesn't like getting up terribly early, much rather stay in bed. Thank you very much, because I was looking at cat videos last night and I'm actually a little bit tired. Or, it's just, it was so much nicer when I didn't have to have breakfast at the crack of dawn. I've been spending the whole summer in shorts and a t-shirt, and now I've got to wear something different. I've got to navigate this big school and I can't remember where all the rooms are. I don't know if my friends are feeling this. What happens if I look silly? What happens if I look fat? What happens if I look pimply? What happens if I look panicky? What happens? You see? And this is how he's feeling. So we need to validate all that. We need to sort of say, I hear you. And do you know what? I feel exactly the same when I go into new situations as well. But today I'm going to give you some tools how to deal with that to help just calm everything down. So he's not doing the fight or flight. So he's not doing the saber-toothed tiger. And so he's just going to go, oh, okay. Bit nervous here, but okay, we've got it. And it's just giving them the strength. But the first thing to do is to acknowledge the feelings so that your child doesn't think that they're being dumb, so your child doesn't worry about the fact that they're feeling a bit panicky, because it's not fair. All of us, I say this all the time, is we want to feel loved, understood and respected. As you, me, the postman, your child, head of school, head of industry, whoever it is, we all want to feel, somewhere along the line, we want to feel loved, understood and respected. And one of the best ways of making your child feel, well, one hopes you tell them that you love them. If you don't, just do, because it makes them feel better. But to make them feel understood is to listen to them and to validate their feelings, all you have to do is listen. Don't have to problem solve at this stage. Just give them some space. Okay? And by doing that, number 3, talk. Talk to your child. What's going on here? What's happening? And if they've started school, what was the highlight of your day? You know, tell me about sort of, you know, one of the best things that happened. Because that gives them it gives them the positives to look forward to. It gives them perspective that, yeah, I felt a bit nervous, but so-and-so sat next to me at lunch. Or, yeah, I was terrified and I got lost, but someone else was lost and we found our way, or someone was kind enough to offer, you know, show us the way, or whatever it is. But get them to hone in on the positives. One thing I do think is, when we're talking about this chap, we're talking about the uncertainty, the change, the worries, is to be okay with that. So I have said validate the feelings, but for them to be okay with this little fellow going a bit antsy, because that's to be expected. So rather than try and suppress it, let your child realise, oh, this is what's happening. That this is normal. Right, okay, so I'm not bonkers. I'm not unlike everyone else, okay? So try that. Speak to them and listen to them and open up the dialogue of what's going on here, okay? Slurp. I want you, she says, sounds very bossy, but I want you to prioritise your child's mental health. We know mental health is a big thing at the moment, but I tell you what, we're speaking from experience. You are only as happy as your saddest child. And if your child is struggling, you don't give a stuff if they've got an A in geography. You don't give a stuff if they've got an A in physics, maths, chemistry, or whatever. You don't care. You just want your child to be happy. And in order to do that, a great way of doing that is supporting them. And by putting their mental health as a priority, when the struggles and the pressures fall away or reduce, we build friendships, we build confidence, we build self-esteem, we build the ability to focus, the ability to learn. Hello, we're at school, surely this has got to help. We help reach our goals and dreams. We actually have goals and dreams because when we're feeling better, we have the opportunity to look to the future rather than, oh my God, I'm having an awful time and I'm shutting down and I can't cope, okay? So good mental health is a priority, from academic learning, from fitting in, from helping your child. You know, when we have good mental health, we live longer, we feel better, we focus better. So we need that, and we need to support our child without trivializing what's going on and just giving them, it could be as simple as giving them a hot chocolate. I mean, not being funny. The best way over the next couple of weeks, when your child comes in from school, instead of, how did it go? How did it go? What happened? Oh, did your friends meet you? Oh, it's all right if they didn't. I mean, you know, don't judge yourself. Stop. When your child comes in through the door or you collect them from school, the first thing I would do when you get home is give them a hug, if they're not too big for hugs. Sometimes it doesn't really matter how big they are, but if they let you, hug them. But I would just give them cookies or give them toast and a cup of tea. You know what it's like when teenagers just go straight to their room and they throw the bag down and you just think, oh, where did they go? I mean, I just want to hear all about it. No. What I would do is if your child, regardless if they're sitting on the sofa with the dog or if they are holed up in their room, I would take them a drink and some toast and go, there. I'm sure that's what you need right now. And then back off. No Spanish Inquisition. No, how did it go? How did it go? Are you all right? Oh my gosh, I can see you're a bit nervous. No. Save that till when you're eating the evening meal, when they've had an hour or so to decompress. No Spanish Inquisition, just space and calm. And invariably, they'll come to you before you sit down at the table, before they get to eat. But just give them the opportunity just to chill. And just for this guy to go, oh God, thank God I'm home. Does that make sense? Because we don't really, I know you're busting to find out. I know you're really, really keen to see, how did the day go? Oh my goodness, what am I going to do? How am I going to pick up the pieces? I wouldn't even do that. I wouldn't even do that. I would give them tea and toast or hot chocolate or muffins or whatever, and just give them a tiny bit of comfort food and a lot of space. And that will give them the opportunity to calm down. Come on. I don't know, if you've ever had a stressful situation, the last thing you want to do when you get into your sanctuary, which is your home, is for someone to sort of peer at you and go, how did it go? How did it go? Oh my God. You know, sometimes you just want to go, please, just let me wind down. And that's what your child needs when they come in through the front door. And then, once they have, they're likely to come to you, oh my God, guess what happened? Or, oh gosh, this was so exciting, or whatever it is. So try that, because it really helps. Now, how do we prepare our kids for maybe a calmer morning? How do we prepare our kids for getting ready for school? How do we prepare them? And the trick is morning's a really big thing, isn't it? Especially the first couple of weeks, because it's been sort of fairly chill at home, hasn't it? And suddenly it's like, the alarm is ringing and they've got to get up at the crack of dawn, or they're going to miss the bus or whatever. So I would say you start looking to have, if you can, and I know, been there, done that, I've been in the trenches, but forewarned is forearmed, and preparation is key. So if you can maybe be slightly more prepared over the next couple of weeks. I know it'll all go pear-shaped afterwards, but focus on the next 2 weeks where you are able to have a slightly calmer sort of time at home at the minute in the mornings. So how do you get them up on time? Okay, I know this is going to go down badly, and I know you're not going to be terribly keen about some of this. You'll go, yeah, Kai, easier said than done. But I mean, you know, it stands to reason. Keep tech out of the bedroom. Are you having a laugh? I've got a teenager. Are you having a laugh? Well, actually, no, science proves that if you keep their phones outside, downstairs, wherever, and if they go, oh no, I need my phone for my alarm, get yourself one of these, for God's sake. It was £5 or something ridiculous on Amazon, okay? So having the alarm just won't cut it. But what I want you to do is take tech out of the bedroom. A, so they go to bed earlier and they're not sitting there scrolling at the crack of dawn. And B, because it's not the first thing that they look at when they get out of bed, and then they're running late, and then they do, because that's when the pressure builds. So tech out of the bedroom. Good luck with that, especially if you've got older kids. Also, earlier bedtime stands to reason. And I know if you've got late teens, they've been going to bed at silly o'clock. I get that. But it's a different time now. It's school time. It's, you know, you've got a different routine, and they need to go to bed earlier, okay? Now, you might have to graduate that. You might have to sort of bring it back gently. You know, if they're going to bed at 11, 12, 1, doing a 9 o'clock bedtime is going to be really hard. So maybe pull it back, you know, by half an hour or whatever, so that, you know, it's all about compromise, isn't it? It's all about give and take. It's all about sort of what's working and what isn't working. So give them an earlier bedtime. Your child, if they are a teenager, they need 9 to 10 hours sleep a night to help them have fully functioning brain power for school. Well, for life, come on. So you and I need about sort of 7 or 8 hours. But your kids need, if they're teenagers, they need 9 to 10. Their brain is work in progress. Their brain is developing on a daily basis. And it takes a flip of a lot of energy to do that. And a lot of that rewiring and a lot of that recouping after the stresses and strains of a a long day, you know, because it's going to be, they're going to have to readjust to this. The sleep is the way that their brain is healing and resting and healing and resting. So your child needs to get to bed earlier. Another trick is maybe prepare breakfast the night before. Depends what they have for breakfast, or make sure that you know that they need a proper breakfast. So, you know, bring them down 10 minutes earlier, or prepare breakfast for them and breakfast is ready, it's going to get cold, or whatever. But make sure breakfast has been prepared earlier. Maybe you have to get up half an hour earlier. Suck it up. You're the grown-up. And if you do something like that, I promise you it will allow your child to adjust more quickly to the change in their routine. Maybe you could get, you know, if they're having packed lunches, maybe you can prepare those in advance. I tell you what, you know, what you can do is do sandwiches and bung them in the freezer, and you take them out that morning, and by lunchtime they are defrosted and absolutely fine. But, you know, just think about how you can make your life and your child's life easier to negotiate. We need to look at this as a short-term solution. We need to look at this, you know, on a weekly basis. I'm not saying this has to be these approaches have to be done for the next term or the next academic year. You're firefighting at the minute, especially if your child is struggling with back to school anxieties. We are talking short term here. We are talking getting them over that hump in the next couple of sort of weeks, if that makes sense. Get the clothes ready the night before. Make sure they've got their school bag ready the night before. You might, if your child is, you know, we need to sort of get them organised. If your child is a visual learner, maybe a big whiteboard in their room to say, so they know what their timetable is, so they can look really quickly at their whiteboard and it sort of says, all right, well, Monday is blah, 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 Tuesday is blah, blah, blah. And so they know the books that they need to take in each day. And also on that whiteboard, you will have the deadlines and the homework stuff, so it's easier for them to look at, okay? Maybe if your child is an auditory learner, you need to speak the stuff, you know, you need to talk it through with them. And so maybe, I don't know, the night before, just sort of chat away and go, listen, you've got sort of, I don't know, hockey tomorrow. Is all your kit in your bag? And, you know, if you've got music practice, don't forget to take those things. Put them by the front door so you're ready tomorrow. So you just grab it all, not when you're panicking, you're going, where's my flute? Because that ain't going to work, and that raises the stress levels. So the trick is helping your child to create good habits, yes, that will help them in the long term, of course, but it's also going to help them get over this 2 weeks, and it'll help you move a slightly smoother transition throughout the day, okay? So, come on, Kai, absolutely fine. What do I do if my child is a worrywart? What do I do if my child is struggling? Right. Well, this fellow, remember him? He's not terribly good at listening to us going, you'll be fine, because I go, no, I'm not, the saber-toothed tiger's out there and that ain't going to work. So no, I'm actually a bit nervous. No, I'm really worried. I don't want to, I don't want to hear you telling me I'm going to be fine, because it isn't going to work. But what this guy does understand is breath work, okay? He understands breath work. Why? Because breath work, I'm going to give you an exercise, is a great way of calming the mind. This breath work is a great way of relieving the physical symptoms of panic and anxiety. And what happens then is breath work floods the body with serotonin and oxytocin and lowers the cortisol levels. That's not cortisol. Cortisol's a blimmin' mouthwash. Cortisol, no, yes, cortisol. It lowers the stress hormones, okay? So what I want you to do is I want you to be able to give your child a technique That they can practice anywhere. They can practice it on the bus, they can practice it on the in the lunch queue, they can practice it at their desk, and it's invisible and no one knows what they're doing. And it is called box breathing. Now, stay with me if you follow me and you've done this before. But box breathing is quite simple, and it takes about a minute, and it's fast. You've got a box, okay? You've got a box. And what I want you to do is breathe in the shape of that box. Well, you know, think of that box when you're breathing, yeah? So you breathe in for 4, and you pause, and you breathe out for 4, and you pause, and you breathe in for 4, and you pause, and you breathe out for 4, and you pause, and you keep doing this. Come on, you can tell. Listen how my voice has slowed down. Listen how I've calmed down. That manic woman that was chatting all about social anxiety and all about sort of worries of school, and yeah, I've calmed down because my body knows. Oh, flip, she's mentioning box breathing. Here we go. We can take our foot off the pedal. Here we go. She's pressing pause. So what I want you to do is I want you to sit back and teach your child all about box breathing, because what that does is it says to this fellow, thank you for keeping me alive. Thank you for keeping me safe, but I've got this. Why don't you just have a rest? Because I know you've been manic and I know you've been worried, but we've got this now, okay? Just go and pause. Just go and have a rest. You don't always have to get your knickers in a twist. So try box breathing, okay? It is a great way of calming the mind, lowering the stress hormones, and it's invisible. And your child won't get embarrassed. No one's going to go, oh my God, look at them having a meltdown. No, because no one knows what's going on. It's free, it's safe, and it's easy to remember. Okay? Another one. And it just involves a pen, pencil, Crayola, superfine. It doesn't really matter. If your child is sitting at their desk and they are panicking, or it doesn't, even wherever, it doesn't really matter. Put that between your teeth and just leave it there for a minute and smile. And now the thing about that is you know, it's a bit like sort of having, you know, the pen behind your ear or whatever it is. It's just, you know, you can just sit there. You could even sit there on your phone doing this. And if you're sitting at your desk, especially, if you're sitting at you know, in an exam hall, it's a great way of tricking the mind that everything is okay. And what this does, you've got to keep your teeth, you know, grit your teeth and keep your lips apart. But that is tricking the mind. It is tricking this little fellow that everything's fine. What? You're smiling. Yeah, you're smiling. Oh, that means everything's good, doesn't it? If you're smiling. So, okay, well, more serotonin, more oxytocin. Let's lower the stress levels. Oh, okay, you're smiling. Everything's good. Oh, okay. And this as well takes a minute. And it, you know, it sort of saves you just having a bit of a wobble. Now, for some kids, some little ones, okay, they sort of, I doubt you'd be able to do this for a teenager, but if it, you know, an older teen, but if it blooming well works, you know, that's fine. Your child might be having separation anxiety. Your child might be worrying that they're going to miss you because you've been in each other's pockets. Lucky you if that's how they feel. You know, some teens can't see you far enough, and that's fine. But if you've got a child who is slightly worried, who is wanting to, I don't want to be, you're usually there to sort out my problems and now it's all me on my own and I don't know what to do, then do this, okay? I want you to draw a little heart on their hand. And do you know what? If they don't want a heart, just do a kiss. Doesn't matter what it is. But just put that, and then do the same on your hand. And so you can say to them, do you know, every time you feel a little bit wobbly, just look at that heart, okay? Just look at that. I know that I'll be thinking about you, because whenever I miss you, or whenever I'm just sort of, going through my day, I'll be able to look at that heart and I'll be able to be thinking of you and go, oh my gosh, she'll be having a good time, and we'll be getting, I'll be seeing you soon, and I'll be there at the school gates or whatever. I'll be there at the bus stop, or I'll be there with my hot chocolate and tea and toast, or whatever it is. Or I just think of that and think, I'm giving you a virtual hug. But that is a little bit of reassurance for your child. It's a little bit of reassurance for them to think, do you know what? It's only a half day, or I'm through break time and I've got this far, so it's not much longer to go. And it just gives them the reassurance that, oh yeah, there's someone at home that's waiting for me. And it could be the dog, or it could be the cat, or it could be the guinea pig, or it could be you. It doesn't really matter. But when they see that, or a kiss, whatever it is, it gives them that little pick-me-up, that little reassurance that they are not isolated, that they are not on their own, that there is someone out there that loves them dearly. Works slightly better for younger kids, but why not? That is, that's what you need, brilliant. If that's what your child needs, brilliant. Okay? And then finally, what I would do is, you've been talking to them, you have been working out, what's worrying your child, what's, what they're sort of, you've validated and you've spoken and you've listened, and you could go, okay, well, let's just think about this and do the what if scenarios. Do the, right, come on, sweetheart, there are some things you can control and there's some things you can't control. Now, you can't control if it's going to be pouring down with rain tomorrow, but you can control whether or not you take your umbrella, or whether or not you take your, take your coat, or whatever it is. You can't control what other people say to you. You can't control what teachers do or think. You can't control the school bell if it's too loud. There are lots of things you can't control, but there are lots of things that you can control as well. So let's find out, what you need. Maybe you're worried about getting the school bus, and you're worried about what happens if I'm late. Oh, well then, if you're worried about what happens if you're late, how do we control that? How do we make sure that you don't miss it? And it could be getting up early, it could be getting your bag ready, or it could be I'll drive you to the bus stop for the first 2 times, or whatever it is. Whatever works for you, but it's working out the what if situations. What if, I don't know, you don't see your best mate sort of to begin with, and you're terrified? Well, why don't you arrange to meet them in the car park? Why don't you arrange to meet them at the bus stop? Why don't you, try and work out how to minimise those pressures, how to work out the things that you can control. What happens if I think I'm about to faint and I just don't know what to do? Okay, hang on a minute. We've just done box breathing. Now, box breathing, believe me, it's a bit like wanting to be a concert pianist. You don't suddenly sit down and start playing Beethoven's Fifth or whatever it is. You need to practice. You need to do your scales and arpeggios. You need to put these things into practice. You need to practice the exercise. So the more you practice box breathing, the easier it gets. And as I said, now I just hear the blimmin' word box breathing and I'm going, I've got time out for about a minute and a bit. How lovely is that? So practice box breathing. So when you're and I mean practice when you're feeling good as well as when you're a bit nervy. Practice it when you're going to bed at night, because I tell you what, that helps you go to bed quicker and goes to sleep faster, because you are calming this chappy down. Practice when you're doing your teeth. Practice when you're having breakfast. Practice when you're sitting on the school bus. Practice when you're waiting in registration, because what happens is when you suddenly go, when this is all panicky, you forget what you need to do. But if you have been practicing box breathing, when you're beginning to go, oh no, box breathing and bring me down again. Okay, so do the what if scenarios. Give your child a plan A and a plan B, so that they feel more in control, so that the change and the uncertainty is minimized, so they don't worry so much, so they're feeling a little calmer, so they go, oh yeah, I've got this. I'm meeting so-and-so in the car park tomorrow. I'm doing this. I've got my school bag ready for tomorrow. Well, I've got my heart. Or I'm going to go and, help them think of the positives. Oh, it's going to be such a long week. I can't cope. Okay, well, let's plan something nice. Let's plan something good on Friday evening or Saturday morning. Let's have a celebration for managing the whole week or whatever it is, or just getting back in time. So it's just helping, role-playing, because once you start role-playing, what happens if the teacher shouts at me? No, okay, well, what's your response? So practice role-playing so that this guy is used to the scenario and knows what to expect, because when he is in control, when he knows what to expect, he calms down a bit. And that's what we want. We want your child to feel more in control. And what it's back to school anxieties is all about is when this little fellow gets his knickers in a twist. So I want you to support your child so that we can let this guy have a bit of a rest. And so he can calm down. And so the back to school anxieties are minimised. Okay? Now, I hope that helps. Any questions, leave them in the comments, DM me, come and join me in the Facebook group, whatever works for you. But I am here to answer your questions, and if there's anything you need, then just give me a shout, because that's what I'm here for. I remember, as a child, I remember the back-to-school anxieties. As a parent, I remember the back-to-school anxieties. My kids are 26 and 28 now. They have different anxieties, but it's the same things. My son has just started a new job, and I'm sure he has his own anxieties. He's 28. He's got some of the tools in his toolbox to be able to deal with that now. But we all have them. But it's just a matter of getting your child back into the routine, back into understanding that, do you know what? There's no saber-toothed tigers out there. It's all a bit of a wobble, and that's okay. But together, you can help your child navigate this. Any questions, give me a shout. Much love.